boys, we're just outside Scrumptious, and this episode of Training of the Guard, Medieval Knight Jean-Luc is learning about his practice, and yeah, he feels it's great, he can walk through the local community and people aren't throwing eggs at him in the old days like when he was a tyrant, but he still is feeling a bit down, maybe because he can't connect to those certain energies and that drive when he was taking over places and things like that all those many lifetimes ago. So the Buddha encouraged him to just reconnect with the energy, what was behind that, and maybe purify that. So he ends up setting up, remembering as a kid, he used to just love setting up events and getting people together and, you know, driving stuff. So in the end he decides, in life kind of imitating art, he decides to set up something in the local community, just a storytelling evening. And yeah, we've had it recently here at Scrumptious, and I think the biggest success was people kind of said, oh, there's a lovely sense of play about it. And yeah, I set it up, and again, there wasn't really much of an end in sight, and it did feel a bit weird. Well, kind of what's the, you know, so used to setting up things with an end goal. So something great came from it, and it's particularly inspired by one of the Jataka tales, the Swift Goose King. So let me read a section of that. And what I like about that is there's this great Goose King, you know, leader of the flock. And you know, he decides to put his strength against to race the sun, and yeah, he kind of realised while he's racing the sun, God, you know what, my race against the sun is pointless, and it's come from kind of unskillful attention. It'll be much better, you know, helping people out down in the ground. And I think it's definitely, we can spend our weeks kind of racing the sun nowadays. I know I do. Maybe what does racing the sun look like in your life? So I'm just going to read that chapter as well at the end. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh. Hey Buddha, hey Jean-Luc, how are things? Buddha, you know, I mean, it's great, I can walk through the community now, and, you know, people don't throw eggs at me like they did in the old days, but I don't know, there's still something a bit missing. Really? Yeah, I mean, okay, nowadays I can walk and it's great, but I don't know, it's a slower pace, but I don't know. Back in the old days, there was a certain energy around my day, even though there was the egg throwing and boom and all that. Well, where would that go? Well, I remember as a kid, I just loved setting up things and getting people together and, you know, planning events and planning things. And well, I guess it all went a bit dark with the, you know, planning power and battles and things like that. Yeah, okay. Well, what might come from that if you were to just look at those elements, those positive elements? Yeah, I guess it was, just getting things together. It was a great energy behind that. I suppose you'd call it virya, isn't it? Energy for the good. Yeah, but it was the best. You know, what was funny was we set it up and, there was no kind of real power thing. It was kind of like a power with kind of a celebration. And yeah, it was kind of cool. It was like I can still show my face around the community. And also there's a bit of life too, a bit of life in it.
Once upon a time in Varanasi, during the reign of Brahmadata, the teacher took rebirth as a swift goose and lived surrounded by a flock of 90,000 geese in Jataka. One day he went with his flock to the plains of Jampadipa and ate the wild rice growing in a certain pool. Then he flew up into the sky back to Chitakura with his great retinue in a leisured way, as if in sport, and as if stretching out a golden mat that extended the whole distance of length of the city of Varanasi. And then the king of Varanasi saw him and said to his ministers, "This one must surely be a king, just like me." Conceiving an affection for him, he took flowers, garlands and ointments, and took out for the great being, caused all kinds of musical instruments to be played. When the great being saw the homage that was being paid, he asked the flock, "When a king pays such homage, what does he expect?" They replied, "He wants to be friends with you." "Then let the king be friends with me," he said, and went back and made friends with the king. One day, when the king was in his leisure garden, he went to Lake Anotata, and the bird arrived with water on one wing and sandalwood powder on the other. While everyone was watching, he sprinkled the king with the water and scattered the powder on him right there, and went back to Chitakura. From that time on, the king longed to see the great being, and sat and watched the way he came, saying, "Today my good friend will come." Now, two of the youngest goslings in the great being's flock decided that they would like to have a race with the sun, and asked the great being's permission. "We'd like to race the sun," but the great being replied, "Children, the speed of the sun is very swift. You will not be able to race it, but will perish on the way, so do not go." They asked second time, and then a third time, and even on the third time he refused them. But they, stubborn in their pride, and without a true reckoning of their strength, decided to race the sun without informing the great being. So just before sunrise, they went to the top of Mount Yugandara and perched there. The great being, missing them, asked where they had gone. When he heard what had happened, he thought, they won't be able to race the sun. They'll perish on the way. I'll go and save their lives. And he too went to the perch at the top of Mount Yugandara. As the rim of the sun came up, the goslings took off and flew alongside him. The great being flew with them. The youngest raced into the morning, and then felt exhausted, as if a fire had started in the joints of his bones. Then he made a sign to the Bodhisattva. Brother, I cannot. And the great being said, don't be frightened, I'll save your life. Enclosing him in his wing as a cage, he soothed him and took him to the Chitakura mountain, settled him in the midst of the geese, and then flew back again, caught up with the sun and accompanied Buddha. Now, at that moment, the sun reached its zenith in the sky. The Bodhisattva thought, today I'll put my bodily strength to the test. With one swoop, he flew up to the top of Yugandara, perched there, and then with one swoop, caught up with the sun. At one point, he was in front of it, at another behind. My race with the sun is pointless and has arisen from unwise attention. What is the sun to me? I'll go to Varanasi and give my friend the king a talk about the Dhamma that is suitable and to the point.